Hello and welcome to my 4th grade Earth Science unit for Azusa Pacific's Education 522. My name is Cassandra Kaiser and I'll be taking you through a unit that I developed to teach 4th grade students all about mineral classification and the rock cycle. As an elementary teacher, I see the need to not only teach content to students, but to focus on their different learning intelligences in order to improve student learning. Technology will be a key focus throughout this unit, as it'll help to teach different levels of cognition and learning intelligences. And let's just face it, kids love it. This unit addresses California state standards as well as the Common Core standards. The 4th grade state standards require students to be able to identify common rock forming minerals and to differentiate between igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. As I begin to transition into Common Core standards, I realize that students will have a more in-depth study into geology as they write narratives, use technology, and include key vocabulary in their informative writings. So how will I effectively deliver instruction to a classroom of unique learners? The backbone of this unit is an understanding of the multiple intelligences found among students. The activities and assignments have been built around this framework so that each student can be able to learn through a variety of experiences that activate different types of intelligences. There will also be a focus on each of Dr. Howard Gardner's 8 multiple intelligences, including the verbal linguistic intelligence, which will be addressed using listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The logical mathematic intelligence, which involves testing, experimenting, and exploring the cause and effect relationships. To teach the visual spatial intelligence, the unit will include observations as well as student illustrations, creations, and the use of images. The bodily kinesthetic intelligence will involve movement and manipulation of digital objects as well as hands-on activities. Students will create projects and also be given the chance to physically perform what they have learned. The musical intelligence will be addressed as students learn through song and the creation of music for instruction and memorization purposes. The interpersonal intelligence will involve group and partner work. Students will have a chance for class discussions and sharing information with one another as they learn by collaborating with others. The interpersonal intelligence will be taught through student work and through projects that express what they have learned throughout other assignments. In addition, students will have to support their work using terms and concepts from the unit. For the naturalist intelligence, students will work with natural objects and be able to classify and organize a variety of subjects. Not only do students learn differently, but there are different levels of understanding that should be stimulated throughout the lesson. This unit builds upon foundational levels of thinking and begins to develop higher cognition levels, which are referenced in Bloom's taxonomy. The lessons will encourage remembering and understanding and then move towards more complex activities that require application, analysis, evaluation, and creation using student knowledge and comprehension of the concepts explored in the Earth Science unit. And why use technology? It is a powerful and effective resource that can propel academic success for today's digital learners if it is used properly. As required by the International Society for Technology and Education, this unit meets multiple national educational technology standards for students and teachers, including student creativity and innovation, communication and collaboration, and research and information fluency as a teacher models use of technology and develops learning experiences that require the use of digital tools and resources. So what will this all look like when put together? To sum it all up, content will be delivered to the students using technology in order to teach the different cognitive levels while addressing multiple intelligence strengths. To have a better picture of what this will look like, the unit will start out with a focus on minerals and properties. Students will be taught through lecture assisted by the online textbook, the audio component, an active glossary, related video, and a projector which teaches to the visual and verbal intelligences. For the naturalist and kinesthetic intelligences, student will be able to observe actual rock and mineral samples. To build a strong knowledge and fluency of the unit's vocabulary, students will use spelling city on laptops and iPads to match definitions to terms through the crossword puzzle and other prepared activities. The second phase explores ores. This will take about 2 or 3 days and will include the verbal, visual, interpersonal, naturalist, and the musical intelligence. Students will explore the online text, but they will begin to work on creating projects by applying what they have learned to show the depth of their understanding. Students will collaborate and communicate in small groups to perform an online search of an assigned ore. They will gather information involving the function, value, and details of that ore and then create an advertisement using a single slide on PowerPoint. They will include images, charts, text, and illustrations to advertise their ore. Working in their groups, students will also create their own song to record and include with the slide. They will use apps such as Songify and Audacity to record their song. The finished project will be shown to the entire class so that students are reporting their ore to one another through digital tools. Third part of this unit will be especially engaging for those who learn best kinesthetically, meaning that they learn by doing. The logical and intrapersonal intelligence will also help students understand key concepts as they learn how to sort minerals. Students will work through an online lab to experiment and learn how to classify minerals by these properties. Following their independent practice, the students will work in groups in a hands-on inquiry lab using physical rocks and tools. Students will observe, examine, and compare and contrast the unknown minerals as they test the hardness, streak, luster, and crystal shape. They'll record their observations into a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This activity will present a very clear and logical process to classify each mineral according to its unique properties. Rock identification fun doesn't end there. Students will also bring in rocks found in their environment to examine and identify in class. They will take a photo of their rock using an iPad and then use Sketch to diagram and label the properties onto their digital photo. To demonstrate their ability to not only identify minerals, but also to explain the process of identifying minerals, students will use laptops and a game found online to create their own 6-panel comic strip to give examples that validate the identification of a particular mineral. Students will then learn all about classifying rocks as igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. They will learn using songs and chants that help those with the musical intelligence to memorize terms. Students will be able to describe the different rock classifications by using Google Maps or Sketch to visually show the likely locations to find the 3 types of rocks. Students will also design a logical display of the sequence of events that form igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks using inspiration maps. Next, students will learn all about the rock cycle. This section of the unit will use a lot of technology that especially builds upon the logical, visual, and naturalist intelligence. Again, using inspiration maps, students will create a web of possibilities in the rock cycle, proving that it is not linear but rather has multiple routes. The web will start with one rock, but then be structured to show how a rock can move and transform in the rock cycle due to the processes that it might undergo. Using this web, students will independently contribute to a class publication by writing their own online blog using edublogs.com and student laptops. They will follow their web that was previously created on the iPads and use a rock of their own choice to create an imaginative narration of a rock's journey through the rock cycle. These rock diaries will summarize the information gathered online and in class, include unit vocabulary, and be written from the first-person perspective. Moving from interpersonal to intrapersonal, students will be able to review each other's work for revisions and proofreading. To make things even more enjoyable, partners will use the Talking News app, which will imitate student voices as they comment and critique on each other's blogs in order to help improve narratives. After all corrections are made and any images are added to the blogs, students will upload their own narration as a podcast using Audacity. They will be instructed on how to add music and sound effects and later upload their recording to their blog, which again could be addressing the verbal and musical intelligences. At the end, I will show a review video which I created that will benefit the verbal and visual intelligence strengths. As for the kinesthetic learners, to tie it all together, students will work with groups one last time to perform one of the blog narrations as a skit using songs and concepts from the unit that will be recorded and uploaded to the class website. At this point, students should be very fluent with the key vocabulary, well-rehearsed unit concepts, and be able to accurately articulate or demonstrate what they have learned throughout the unit on mineral classification and the rock cycle through a series of digital projects. So what did I get out of EDUC 522? More than you can imagine. I already look at my students differently than I did just a few months ago. I've come to realize that not everyone learns the same way that I do, nor does everyone express themselves the same way that I do. It is important that I create opportunities for all students to learn, regardless of their multiple intelligence strengths. I would also like to create lesson plans and units that transition from a foundational knowledge and comprehension level to include higher levels of thinking that allows for analysis, application, and creation. I've also come to appreciate technology that much more since I see how it can be a tool that helps me reach a wide variety of learning styles as it effectively helps reinforce concepts that I teach in the classroom. My goal is that if someone were to enter my classroom, there would be no doubt that every student was provided with the opportunity to learn.